Hi. For my project, I will be going over the gender dynamics in Iraq from the 17th century to the late 20th century. Welcome to our journey through the gendered history of Iraq. Across centuries, Iraqi women have navigated patriarchal systems, confronted social constraints, and shaped society in remarkable ways. In this video, we will explore how gender roles evolved in Iraq from the 17th century to today, and highlight the resilience and achievements of women who challenged the status quo. Let's dive in. In pre modern Iraq, gender roles were deeply rooted in patriarchal traditions upheld by tribal customs and Islamic law. Women's primary roles were confined to the private sphere, managing households and raising children. But even within these confines, some women wielded influence. Take Asma Khanum of the Jalili family in Mosul. Although her power was informal, she advised on political alliances, showcasing how elite women could impact tribal dynamics. Shah Sultan Katan from Baghdad mediated tribal disputes and offered political counsel, though always behind the scenes. Similarly, women in the harems of Mamluk leaders managed estates and arranged strategic marriages, subtly influencing political outcomes. These examples illustrate how women navigated and occasionally shaped patriarchal systems. In the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire's Tanzimat reforms sought modernization, but these changes often reinforced existing gender inequalities. Education, a key pillar of modernization, largely excluded women, especially those in rural areas. However, exceptions existed. Hafzia Hanam, a Kurdish tribal leader, mediated tribal disputes and held authority among northern Iraqi tribes. Salama Begum, an elite woman in Baghdad, managed family estates and contributed to local welfare, carving a space for influence within traditional structures. These figures show that while reforms often marginalized women, individuals still found ways to assert their agency. The early 20th century brought nationalism to the forefront of Iraqi society. Women were portrayed as guardians of cultural identity, but were largely excluded from formal political decision making. British colonial rule introduced limited education for elite women, sparking early feminist movements. Asma Rashid al-Qait founded one of Iraq's first women's organizations, advocating for education and political engagement. Poet Nazik al-Malaika challenged social norms through her writings, inspiring future feminist movements. Meanwhile, Suhaili Tamimi laid the groundwork for women's literacy and employment. These women began to redefine the narrative of gender roles in Iraq. By the mid-20th century, Iraq's political landscape began to shift. The founding of the Iraqi Republic in 1959 marked significant advancements for women, including the right to vote and participate in politics. However, these gains often reflected state-driven feminism, where progress was symbolic rather than transformative. Naza al-Dulami co-founded the Iraqi Women's League and became the first female cabinet minister in the Arab world. Cultural icons like Salima Murad and poet Lama Abbas Amara used their platforms to challenge societal norms, broadening public discourse on gender roles. Despite these strides, traditional norms often reasserted themselves, limiting the revolutionary potential of these reforms. The late 20th century in Iraq was marked by contradictions. During the Iran-Iraq War, women's workforce participation increased due to the economic necessity. Yet, Saddam Hussein's regime simultaneously upheld conservative family values, demonstrating how gender policies were shaped by the state's interests. Hannah Edouard emerged as a leading human rights activist, founding the Al-Amal Association to promote women's rights. Suad al-Khatib broke barriers in healthcare, advocating for women's education and employment. Artist Noua al-Radi documented the impact of war on Iraqi society in her Baghdad diaries, offering a poignant perspective on women's experiences during conflicts. The 21st century brought constitutional reforms and international initiatives aimed at empowering Iraqi women. Parliamentary quotas were introduced, but systematic challenges, sectarianism, violence, and political instability, hindered real progress. Grassroots activists like Hannah Edouard continued to fight for change, emphasizing local solutions over top-down interventions. These efforts highlight the ongoing struggle for gender equality in post-conflict Iraq, where progress remains uneven but resilient. The stories of Iraqi women resonate with the global examples of gendered resistance, from Njinga's military leadership to Harriet Tubman's fight against slavery. These narratives reveal the universal struggle for women's agency. They remind us that while contexts differ, the resilience and contributions of women continue to shape history. As we've seen, the history of gender dynamics in Iraq is one of persistence and transformation. Women have challenged patriarchal norms, redefined their roles, and contributed profoundly to society. Their stories inspire us to continue advocating for equality and recognizing the vital role women play in shaping our world. Thank you for watching.